ਮਾਈ ਰੇਡੀਓ 580 AM ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਮੇਰਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਹੈਲੋ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਬੁੱਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਖਾਸ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ ਐਡਮਿੰਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਵੈਸੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਨੰਬਰਸ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਨੰਬਰ ਇਸ ਲਿਸਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਨਾਮ ਐਂਟਰ ਰਿਕ ਕੋਮਰੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਜੀ ਬੁੱਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ
बिल्कुल जी आओ गलबात का आगाज करते हैं फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू वेरी मच वेलकम यू टू अवर स्टूडियो सर गुड मॉर्निंग
Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much जी
so mayoral candidate mayoral election is civic election is already on its way and now the federal government have announced dissolved and there's a federal election going on. How it's affecting the campaign for the civic election?
Well, I think it's quite timely. I think Justin Trudeau and the federal government are a very calculating government, and unfortunately, their impact to Edmonton as a municipality has been enormous. But many of us, people that support me, we look at it as a failure. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, him calling an election at this time is somewhat strategic, and I believe that he's capitalizing on his mission, which is climate change within Canada. And I think with all the fires around the world, he's a bit of an alarmist. And not to say that we shouldn't be concerned about climate and climate change, but I think my perspective and the people that I represent, we need to moderate the change to our municipality. Too much change is added to too much dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਰਿਕ ਕੋਮਰੀ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋ ਹਾਊ ਡਿਡ ਯੂ ਡਿਸਾਈਡ what made you think about going for this race at this time?
Wonderful. I see the impact coming from outside of our municipality that's changing who we are as a city. Mm-hmm. I was born and raised here. Mm-hmm. My family's journey in Edmonton and Edmonton area began in the early 1900s. And we've had just a wonderful city up until about 7-8 years ago. And I see the current mayor, Don Iveson, has followed the federal government's policies. Mm-hmm. And when I look at the policies today, the city of Edmonton and all the markers that you would gauge the successful municipality on, crime, unemployment, suicide, substance abuse, business failures, they're all rising. I would suggest that the model that they've decided to pursue has been a colossal failure. I'm a business owner here in Edmonton. My two sons are in their 20s and they're business owners now. And we need to stabilize our economy here. And I think it's fair to say that federal policy has impacted our municipality in a negative way, and we need stabilization. We need to find a way to moderate the changes that are being pushed upon us from outside.
Thank you.
And my next question is, I think you're the fourth or fifth candidate we are interviewing in the studio. Everyone have concern about small businesses, and even you have the same concern. Edmonton economy is not going the way it should be. What is the fix? How we can fix that?
I think it's a simple solution, and part of my platform is a plebiscite on LRT and spending. And I believe that we're spending billions of dollars in the wrong areas. But of course, this has been pushed upon us. This is someone else's vision of who they think we should be. Business is failing because we've interrupted our roadway system, and our city streets are critical to the success of business for unemployment, mm-hmm. recirculation of dollars back into the community. As we know, when you spend, that money goes, it continues to recirculate within our own city. So our city streets are really something we need to focus on. We've become so dysfunctional, and I think we've tried to be something that we're not.
The connectivity in Edmonton is always an issue. If you compare Calgary, you have fastest connectivity toward downtown from any corner. All the trails going toward downtown, and the connectivity is very fast. Edmonton always struggling with it. So if we don't have LRT and we have a connectivity issue in transportation, and our connectivity with the downtown is an issue from south side and every other corner of the city, how you would fix that?
Plebiscite on LRT to stop unnecessary spending. Billions of dollars on a program that is destined to fail. We do not have the density. I refer to it as we're being operated as a European municipal model rather than a Western society city. And the difference between the two is one can operate with bicycling and other modes of transportation, where LRT, today here's where we are. We spend billions of dollars on LRT, which is dysfunctional, and the taxpayer is subsidizing that every year. They're adding more and more lines that will add more and more dysfunction. And until we decide as a community to stop spending unnecessarily, we must alter our path, because this is what's contributing to dysfunction. So you're asking people to ride other modes of transportation. That's why busing is failing. That's why LRT is failing. You have distress on our city roadways, which ultimately affects business and stability, economic stability.
I have another question for you. And what kind of problems? I know there are some problems in the city. There's some problem with the council itself. What kind of problems do you see there?
I don't understand the question.
So there's some issues about City of Edmonton. We are talking about LRT, roads, photo radar tickets, and so many other things too. And the speed is another one for people now. But there's another problem. There's people are concerned about the council, how the council is functioning. Do you see any problem there?
I do, and I think that collaboration and being able to meet and get along with your fellow council members is really critical. And there's one candidate in particular that seems to be not able to do that. And he may be one that hasn't been on your show and may not be. And I think he's showing the audience, which is the voter and the taxpayer, that he may not be able to get along with others. So I don't know that it's a good strategy on his behalf, but we certainly need to collaborate, and we need to find solutions that stabilize our economy from a municipal perspective.
Yes, there is that candidate, by the way, coming here on next Tuesday, who you're referring to.
I'm wonderful to hear that, because I think we need to be able to get along with people. We need to be able to find solutions that better our city.
So do you understand how the functionality of the whole council is affecting the city, and what problems do you see there?
Well, I see the influence has come from the federal government. I defy Amarjeet Sohi, because Amarjeet Sohi is a soldier of Justin Trudeau. And that is a continuation of the problems we've just talked about. Crime, unemployment, substance abuse. You should come with me one day, and we should walk in the downtown core to see how dysfunctional and how upsetting it is to a lifetime Edmontonian. It's just awful. When I go down White Avenue and I see the dysfunction. But you see, these policies have been pushed upon the municipality by the current mayor, Don Iveson, and his vision he has accepted Justin Trudeau's vision of what Canada should be, and unfortunately, we are living the failure of that vision, and we must alter our path. We cannot continue financially, we cannot, and social wellness depends upon the direction the city goes, and an election is the right time to do that.
Thank you.
Can you give us some insight? What do you mean by different from Trudeau philosophy or liberal philosophy? What is the different path? What path you would choose?
Well, Justin Trudeau is continued to spend irresponsibly. And I think it's a well-known fact, regardless of what platform you come from, be it NDP, Liberal or Conservative, matters not. At some point in time, and there will be a day of reckoning financially. And Justin Trudeau is irresponsible. I believe that he thinks that he can continue to spend. He's purchasing voters, he's purchasing radio stations, TV stations, media. It's unfortunate, but censorship is well at hand here, and we must alter our path. We cannot continue down that road. It's just it's not financially responsible.
What do you think about the municipal politics or municipalities? They should be or should not be influenced by the federal government or other politics or provincial
government or any parties?
Oh, I think they have to be, and I think they need to be, but that doesn't mean if a bank came to you personally, and you know how much money you make per month, you know your expenses per month, and a bank came to you and said, we're going to give you $1 million, based on your income, you'd have to say, you know, I'm not sure I want that $1 million. I don't think it's the right thing for me. A municipality needs to do the same. Because you're being offered this or this or this doesn't mean you need to accept that. It means that you need to evaluate what you can afford and what's right for your municipality. And I think that's the difference is the current mayor for the last 8 years has been reprimanded by the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, the Taxpayer Federation, have all said 7 years ago, you cannot spend this amount of money.
Thank you very much. I'll say that on the record, nobody ever from Trudeau party or anybody tried to purchase us, to buy us.
Wonderful.
But anyway, sir, can you give us your information about how people can contact you and how they can volunteer with you, and if you have any website or you have any phone number, you can please announce that on the radio now.
We're launching a new website. It should be out in about 7 days from now.
Okay.
And that will address all of the issues you just asked about and all the social media platforms, which we're currently on now. ComrieForMayor.ca. Look me up, and I need your vote. We must alter our path that perpetuates where we're at today as a municipality. And thanks so much for having me.